Most people searching for the household item linked to nerve damage are expecting some obscure chemical, a pesticide, a cleaning product, something hidden. The actual answer is sitting on millions of kitchen counters and in millions of refrigerators right now, and almost nobody is talking about it, honestly. I'm Dr. Michael Fitzmaurice. I've spent my surgical career operating on damaged peripheral nerves, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I see under the microscope, why it matters, and what to do about it. The household item is alcohol, not because it's exotic, because it's everywhere. It's the only widely consumed substance in the American diet with direct, dose-dependent, mechanistically characterized neurotoxicity to peripheral nerves. Up to 66% of patients with chronic alcohol use disorder show some form of peripheral neuropathy. Here's what most people don't understand about how alcohol damages the nerves. There are two mechanisms working in parallel, and both of them are doing damage every time you drink. The first is direct neurotoxicity. Ethanol and its metabolite, acetaldehyde, form chemical bonds with the proteins inside your nerves, disrupting the transport system that keeps axons alive and breaking down myelin, the insulation around your nerves. The second mechanism is nutritional. Chronic alcohol use depletes thiamine, B6, folate, and B12. Every one of those vitamins is independently required for nerve maintenance. Thiamine deficiency alone causes a peripheral neuropathy that looks identical to alcohol neuropathy under the microscope. So when someone tells you a glass of wine with dinner is fine because of the antioxidants, here's what they're missing. The polyphenols in red wine do not offset the direct neurotoxic effects of ethanol. The Mediterranean diet studies that included moderate wine intake were studying cardiovascular outcomes, not nerve function. There is no defensible safe threshold for alcohol in a neuropathy patient. If you already have nerve symptoms or you're at metabolic risk for developing them, the honest position is not moderation, it's complete elimination. That's the single highest leverage dietary change you can make for your nerves. But alcohol isn't the only thing in your kitchen damaging your nerves. So let me walk you through the rest of the top 5, ranked by how strong the evidence actually is. Number 2 is added sugar, especially high fructose corn syrup. Most people understand that sugar raises blood glucose. What they don't understand is that fructose specifically generates 10 times more methylglyoxal than equivalent glucose. Methylglyoxal is a highly reactive molecule that drives the formation of advanced glycation end products and directly depletes glutathione, which is your nerve's primary antioxidant defense. Every sugar-sweetened beverage you drink is launching a chemical attack on your peripheral nerves. High fructose corn syrup is in nearly every ultra-processed food in the standard American diet. Number 3 is refined carbohydrates, and this one surprises people. It is not just your average blood sugar that damages nerves, it's the swings. A 2024 meta-analysis of 9 studies and over 3,600 diabetic patients found that glycemic variability, meaning the size and the frequency of those blood sugar spikes, independently predicted neuropathy risk, even after controlling for average glucose. So white bread, breakfast cereals, pretzels, sweetened coffee drinks, all of those create post-meal spikes that activate every major pathway of nerve damage at once, even if your A1C looks acceptable. Number 4 is ultra-processed foods, and this is the convergence category. So high glycemic load, high fructose, refined seed oils, industrial heat processing that generates dietary advanced glycation end products, nearly zero fiber, and they displace nutrient-dense foods from your diet. A 2025 systemic review confirmed dose-response relationships between ultra-processed food intake and type 2 diabetes across multiple large cohort studies. Since type 2 diabetes is the leading cause of peripheral neuropathy worldwide, the pathway from ultra-processed food to nerve damage is biologically airtight, even before you measure a single nerve fiber. Number 5 is high heat cooked meats. And this is the one that gets the most pushback, so I want to be very precise. The problem is not the meat. The problem is the cooking method. Grilling, broiling, charring, and deep frying generates dietary advanced glycation end products at the highest concentrations of any food category. Research from Mount Sinai showed that subjects on a low AGE diet, measuring the same foods cooked at lower temperatures with moist heat, measurably reduce circulating AGEs and inflammatory markers within weeks. So slow cooked, braised, poached, or stewed proteins generate dramatically fewer AGEs than the same protein grilled black on the outside. You don't have to give up the meat, you just have to change how you cook it. Now, here's what I want you to understand about why this matters at the cellular level. Every single one of these foods damages nerves through the same convergent biochemistry. When blood sugar runs high, glucose gets shunted into a backup pathway called the polyol pathway, which depletes your nerve's antioxidant defenses and pulls water into the cells. At the same time, glucose binds non-enzymatically to proteins in your nerves, and it forms advanced glycation end products, which triggers inflammation and accelerates mitochondrial damage. And if that wasn't bad enough, the tiny blood vessels feeding your peripheral nerves, what we call the vasa nervorum, undergo progressive damage from chronic hyperglycemia. So basically starving your nerves of oxygen years before you ever notice a symptom. This is why diabetic neuropathy is fundamentally an ischemic injury wearing a metabolic disguise. And it's why you don't have to be diabetic to develop diet-driven nerve damage. The landmark research by Singleton and colleagues showed that patients with impaired glucose tolerance, meaning their fasting glucose and A1C still look normal, already have measurably reduced small nerve fiber density on skin biopsy. Insulin resistance alone, independent of frank diabetes, drives small fiber neuropathy. So if you have unexplained burning feet, tingling, or loss of sensation, and your standard labs come back normal, the damage is probably happening upstream of where most clinicians are actually looking. Here's the bottom line. Diet is not a soft variable in peripheral neuropathy. It is a major upstream input, and if you control it completely, eliminate alcohol, eliminate added sugar, high fructose corn syrup, replace refined grains with whole food carbohydrates, avoid ultra-processed foods, and cook your meats at lower temperature with moist heat, that single set of changes addresses every major mechanism of dietary nerve damage simultaneously. If you're watching this and wondering whether your current symptoms are diet-driven or whether you're at risk for nerve damage you haven't noticed yet, I built a 5-minute free nerve health risk assessment that scores your risk and tells you exactly where you stand. It's the same screening framework I use for my consultation platform for nerve health. The link is in the description below. And if you're high risk, the assessment will also route you directly to a free 10-minute discovery call with me. That's it for today. If this video changed how you think about what's on your plate, hit subscribe. I post deep dives on nerve health and metabolic medicine weekly.